Hi, this is Dr. Richard Jolliff, and I want to welcome you to this week's Leadership to Go. We've been looking at the truth about leadership, and so we're going to continue that on here today. Before we get into that, let me remind you that there is a comment box right below this video. You can leave your comments there, your questions, your thoughts, some impressions you have of the things we're talking about, maybe some stuff that you've read that could help me just continue to provide information to all of our viewers that watch us on a regular basis. There's also a thumbs up there, and you can thumbs up the program if you like it. There's also a G+, and you can, if you're a Google Plus member, you can go ahead and click on that as well. Let's get into our lesson today. We were talking about, in our last program, going through the different parts of leadership and looking at what happens as a leader if we make poor choices in putting people in positions. And that poor selection, they say, can result in 3 bad habits. The first is the body count. Under pressure to get work done, we forsake quality hiring and simply hire bodies, meaning that we're just bringing people in. And so that's a bad habit. You want to make sure you get the right people in the right position. Any successful leader knows having the right people in the right places is what will determine success. And so you can only go so far yourself. You have to have the right people to fill in some of those voids and empty areas of your life where you're not gifted or talented. And so body count can become an issue, that you're just putting people in positions just because you need someone. That number 2, another bad habit is you haven't worked for me yet syndrome. This person has a poor track record, but I can change them. Here's the issue with that, meaning that, going through this idea of, I can change you to be the kind of worker that you need to be. Here's the problem that you run into with that. People have habits in their lives. People with poor track records can change, but tend to continue on the same kind of poor track record that they've always had. And I came across this quote. I thought this was just so absolutely powerful. This is a research that was compiled by the Gallup research group that came from interviews with 80,000 managers. It validates what was learned in 1981, but intuitively and out of necessity has become the single most important lesson any parent, leader, coach, or friend can ever grasp. And here it is. I can make you more than you are, but I just can't make you something that you're not. Past performance predicts future behavior. Past performance predicts future behavior. So here's the thing. We look at 2 aspects when we're dealing with people. We look at talent and we look at teachability. And you really have to have both of those to be successful in a person you're bringing into work beside you. And this is just a true statement in leadership. They have to be talented in the area that you need talent in, and they also have to be teachable. Now, here's the thing. If they have a poor track record, they either are failing in one of those areas or they're failing in both of those areas. So let's take someone who's teachable, but maybe they're not as talented. Well, can we teach them? Yeah, because we see the earnestness of their heart, that they want to learn, they want to develop, they want to grow, they want to become better. If they're talented and they're not teachable, they're going to be frustrating to you because you're not going to be able to take them any further than where they're already at. They're going to rely more on their talent than your ability as their leader to guide them to the next level. If they're teachable, with very little talent, you're going to take them a little further, but you're not going to be able to take them too far, especially if that's just an area that they're just not good at. You can't make a great singer out of a poor singer. We've learned that in the ministry here. I mean, everybody likes to worship. We have people want to get in the worship team and be a part of it, but if they don't have the talent, even though that they might be teachable and say, well, teach me how to do it, if they're going to sing off key, then they're off key. And I mean, they're going to throw everybody else off key. So this is a tough lesson for leaders to grab hold of. I coached basketball for years and dealt with all kinds of players. And I could always take them to the next level if they were willing. But I could not make them something they were not. If they weren't teachable, if they didn't have talent, their track record's going to show up. If you look back at their track record, it's just going to repeat itself. And here's the thing, I think this is not just talking about other people, but I think this is something you have to look at yourself. Do you have a track record of great performance in your past. If you don't, then you're going to have to evaluate, am I talented in that area? Am I in the wrong, am I a round peg in a square hole? And am I teachable? Is it just become about that you're the only one that's right? You have to look at those. Those are hard questions to ask. And of course, whenever you ask someone if they think they're the only one that's right, and they say, "Oh, of course not. I definitely." But who do you listen to? Who's helping you? They usually don't have anybody that is at all. They're helping themselves, and they're the only ones that listen to themselves. So we have to watch with this aspect of it, because these are bad habits that we can get into, and they can create real difficult challenges for us in ministry and in business. So let's review this. Poor selection of people is a result of 3 bad habits. The first is the body count. We just putting anybody in any position just because we need someone. The "you haven't worked for me" syndrome, which is that I'll change you, I'll make you better, even though they have a terrible past performance record. And then the third one is the "I don't know what I'm looking for yet" issue. And this is a tough one as well, because that means you haven't clearly articulated the qualities of the person that you need beside you to help you. You have to sort through that. You have to think about what it is that you need to help you do what you need to do. And so if you're in this kind of a position and you haven't clearly articulated, thought out on paper, or, made a list of things that this is the criteria that I need, you're going to get into trouble, and you're going to have some bad habits in your hiring and also in bringing volunteers near you. You're going to get the wrong people in the wrong places. And so we have to really work at developing people, but also we have to work at setting a criteria of what we're looking for, and that would deal a lot with talent and, of course, that teachability aspect. Those two things, to me, are the win-win. If you can get those in an individual, you have a win-win situation. We've had people that we've had come in that were talented, but they just weren't teachable. They didn't last very long. We've had people that didn't have talent and they were teachable, but they just didn't have the talent to do the task, and they didn't last very long. We really want to strive for both aspects. Sometimes there's talent, it's hidden there, and you can see that. You can see that in some of their record and looking at the reflection from the things that they've done in the past. So it's important for us to look at those two aspects specifically. Reflecting on two thoughts with this: one, people don't change. Change is more possible and greater in matters of choice, meaning that people just don't change. They change more to the choices that they have to make in their lives. And so if we're dealing with someone in those choices, then there's definitely going to be some changes that are made. And I can make you, and going back again to that one thought that I just think is so powerful, I can make you more than you are. I just can't make you something that you're not. How to make a person more than they are? Well, here's how we do it. First of all, we build on their temperament, looking at their personality, how they deal with things. Are they choleric? Are they sanguine? Are they melancholy? Are they phlegmatic? How do we deal with them? How do we look at them? We have to build on their temperament. We have to look at their strength zone. Where are they really strong at? Where are they good at dealing with things? We have to look at their track record, their successes. This is how we help people build on becoming more than they are. We have to build on their passions. We have to build on the areas of choices that they make. So how do we do that? Well, we give them opportunity. We give them support and resources and people. We give them goals, helping people set goals. We're very strategic in our ministry. We set goals annually. We change those goals throughout the year to reflect where we are at that particular time and where we want to go. Goals help you reach your objectives in ministry. Objectives help you reach, and in business as well, objectives help you reach your vision. Your vision helps you reach your mission. Your mission helps you succeed and fulfill your purpose. And that's the reason you're here, who you're here to serve, who you're here to work with. So we have to provide goals to people. We have to provide feedback. That's where we'll learn about teachability right away, is dealing with feedback. And then we got to give them credit. I had a young man that played basketball for me in high school. He was very talented. And he had a good work ethic, and he really was willing to do whatever that it would take. And I can remember sitting down with him one day and saying, "Do you know the difference between a good shooter and a great shooter?" He said, no, what's the difference? And I said, well, it's about 100 extra shots a day. And do you know what? That kid, he would stay after practice and shoot. He'd come in we'd play a game Friday night. He'd be in the gym on Saturday morning. And he became one of the highest scorers in our whole area. Well, he was the leading scorer in the whole area, and became an all-state basketball player, and very accomplished. Scored over 1,000 points in his career because he had talent, and he was also teachable. And we gave him opportunity. I just shared with him a way that he could develop his skills, and he took that challenge and, of course, jumped on it. Well, that's all we're going to have time for today as we're looking at this. Just that one thought I'm going to leave you with today as we finish up this program is, I can make you more than you are, but I can't make you something that you are not. We'll see you next week on Leadership to Go. Remember, there is a comment box right below this video. You can leave a comment, some thoughts, your ideas, suggestions that you have. And even if there's a topic you'd like to see me cover talking about leadership, I'd be more than willing to do that as we hear from you. Also, a thumbs up if you enjoyed the program. All right, we'll see you next week as we come back with Leadership to Go.